What's up, everybody? It's Ladykiller with a Fallout 4 analysis. Today I'll be analyzing the latest Fallout 4 video, which focuses on character development and perks. There is a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. The footage opens with our protagonist looking out into a small section of Fallout 4's post-apocalyptic Boston. Something that I noticed right out of the gate is that the compass at the bottom here features a car icon. My first thought was that perhaps this could be a nearby drivable vehicle, but I wouldn't go as far as calling this confirmation of that. It's certainly noteworthy though. Another possibility is that it's the location of a garage or a car workshop of sorts, or perhaps it's a non-drivable vehicle that has been marked on the map as a landmark for some reason, possibly because it has important loot in there or because it's part of a quest. Hard to say for sure, but I would love to hear your theories in the comments below. The protagonist then brings up the Pip-Boy. Now, something interesting that I noticed as he's moving around his arm is that the protagonist is wearing a wedding ring. I think this further solidifies that the protagonist's marriage will play a pivotal role in their character development. Furthermore, my assumption is that the marriage ring is an equipable item. I think players can choose whether they want to wear the ring or not, and perhaps new or different interactions arise depending on whether players are wearing the ring or not. Perhaps certain characters will notice you're wearing your wedding ring and react differently depending on the situation. For example, maybe certain characters are less likely to engage in romance if you're wearing the ring. Food for thought. Anyway, back to the Pip-Boy. Currently it's showing the Stat tab. Within the Stat tab are 3 submenus: Status, Special, and Perks, all of which are pretty self-explanatory. Within the status screen are various basic stats for the player character, including the health of his various limbs, attack, defense, radiation level, name, total health, level and experience points, and action points. Below all that are various button prompts that allow players to use Stimpack, Radaway, or to dive into the Level Up menu, which is the Perks chart that we'll see later on. As you will see throughout this video, contextual buttons in the Pip-Boy change depending on which submenu you're in. For example, in the next submenu, Special, the only contextual action is to bring up the Level Up menu. Speaking of the Special submenu, this is where you can check out all of your special stats and their description. Strength is a measure of your raw physical power. It affects how much you can carry and the damage of all melee attacks. Perception is your environmental awareness and sixth sense and affects weapon accuracy and VATS. Endurance is a measure of your overall physical fitness. It affects your total health and the action points drained from sprinting. The sprinting mechanic is new to Fallout 4, by the way. Charisma is your ability to charm and convince others. It affects your success to persuade in dialogue and prices when you barter. Intelligence is a measure of your overall mental acuity and affects the number of experience points earned. That seems pretty important. Agility is a measure of your overall finesse and reflexes. It affects the number of action points and VATS and your ability to sneak. Finally, luck is a measure of your general good fortune and affects the recharge rate of critical hits. That's right, in Fallout 4, players can trigger critical hits at their discretion with the press of a button after a bar for that charges up. So there you have it, all 7 special attributes. I think it's quite clear that Special in Fallout 4 will play a far more important and overarching role in character development than in previous games. Moving along is the Perk submenu within the Stat tab, which shows the perks that the player character currently has attained. This particular character has the following perks: Better Criticals, Big Leagues, Commando, Gun Nut, Rifleman, Science, and Toughness. Better Criticals is a returning perk from Fallout 3, and like in Fallout 3, the perk enhances damage from criticals by 50%. Now, unlike in Fallout 3, this perk has 3 ranks, and I think it's safe to assume that the percentage will increase by 25% increments until criticals do 100% extra damage when the perk is maxed out. Next up is Big Leagues, which seems to have replaced Fallout 3's Little Leaguer. According to the description, this perk increases melee weapon damage by 20%. This perk has 5 ranks, and my assumption is that every rank will increase melee damage by an extra 20% until it reaches 100% when the perk is maxed out. Next up is Commando, yet another returning perk from Fallout 3, except instead of increasing VATS accuracy with two-handed weapons by 25%, it increases damage dealt by automatic weapons by 20%, with my assumption being that each rank adds another 20% until the perk maxes out at 100%. So while some perks may make a return, don't be surprised to find that many of them have been repurposed to tailor Fallout 4's skill-less, perk-focused character development. Next up is Gun Nut, another returning perk from Fallout 3 that has been repurposed. Instead of increasing small guns and repair by 5 points each, which wouldn't be possible in this game as skills are completely gone, it grants players access to a rank of gun mods. This particular player has leveled this perk twice, so he has access to rank 2 gun mods, with the maximum being rank 4. Seems like a very handy perk for those who want to dive into the game's extensive weapons customization system. Next up is Rifleman, a brand new perk to Fallout 4 that increases damage of non-automatic rifles by 20% with each rank for what I'm assuming to be a maximum of 100% extra damage. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we have Science, which allows players to gain access to high-tech mods of a base level or of a certain rank. It's very similar to the Gun Nut perk, except that this one seems focused on mods related to energy weapons and other high-tech weapons. Last but not least, we have Toughness, which grants plus 10 damage resistance, with my assumption being that the perk maxes out at plus 50 damage resistance. This perk will likely come in handy for those who want to play Fallout 4 with a more action-oriented approach, which is something that Bethesda wants to make an option. We are then finally taken to the game's Perk Chart, which I'm assuming was accessed by pressing the Y button in the Pip-Boy menu. First things first, I've got to say that I love the vintage poster look that it's going for. Alongside cool animated cartoons for each perk, we are also shown descriptions for many of these perks. To my surprise, it looks like the special attributes will also be part of the game's perk tree. According to an article posted by Bethesda a few days ago, players will have 28 points they can assign to special attributes starting out, and from there they can choose to spend a perk point to level up a special attribute. Doing so will essentially unlock a new tier of perks. As you can see in this video, there are 10 perks attached to each of the special attributes, 1 per level, each more exotic than the next. Which perks you'll have access to for a particular column will depend on the level of the special attribute attached to that column. So for example, in this player's case, his strength level is 3, so he only has access to perks 3 levels down under the strength column. All perks beyond level 3 for the strength column only show outlines of the cartoons to signify that these perks can't be accessed until the special level is increased. A similar effect can be found with the other 6 columns, each representing the remaining 6 special attributes. So if you do the math, 7 columns representing each of the special attributes multiplied by 10 rows representing levels amounts to a grand total of 70 base perks. Now, something to keep in mind is that each of those 70 perks have ranks, with each rank amplifying and/or altering the effects of perks. And according to Todd Howard's commentary, counting all of the perks' ranks, there's a grand total of 275 perks to choose from. So yeah, that's a ton of options. And this is without including the fact that after you assign 28 special points, you'd need 42 more perk points to max out all the special attributes, which most likely isn't a good thing to strive for, as that's a lot of perk points you won't be using to specialize your character. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's check out the descriptions of perks shown throughout this gameplay footage. First up, we have the special base perks, and their descriptions are exactly the ones found in the Pip-Boy, save for the extra clause, now you instantly gain 1 point. The cartoons are also exactly the same as the ones found in Fallout 3, except they have now been fully animated, which is freaking awesome. The footage then proceeds by going down the Charisma perk tree, starting with the first level perk of that attribute, Cap Collector, which is new to the series. You've mastered the art of the deal. Buying and selling prices at vendors are better. This perk has 3 ranks, and I'm assuming each rank will make it easier for players to barter and haggle. Next up is the level 2 perk for the Charisma perk tree, Ladykiller, which should be familiar to Fallout fans. You're charming and dangerous. Women suffer plus 5% damage in combat and are easier to persuade in dialogue. so overall fairly similar to Fallout 3's version of the perk. And like in Fallout 3, my assumption is that if you play as the female protagonist, the perk will be replaced by Black Widow. This perk has 3 ranks, each of which likely amplify the damage dealt to the opposite sex, as well as the interactions and dialogue options with them. Moving on, let's take a look at Charisma's level 3 perk, Lone Wanderer, which I do believe is new to the series, although it is most likely a nod to Fallout 3's protagonist. Who needs friends anyway? When adventuring without a companion, you take 15% less damage and carry weight increases by 50. So this perk has 3 ranks total, with each rank likely amplifying damage reduction as well as carry weight. I think the addition of this perk is very cool, as it gives players who might want to play solo further incentive to do so. Moving on, we have Attack Dog, Charisma's level 4 perk and another new perk to the series. Your faithful canine companion can hold an enemy, giving you a greater chance to hit them in VATS. This perk also has 3 ranks, with each rank likely enhancing ways in which your dog can fend off enemies. My assumption is that rank 3 of this perk will allow the dog to wound or even kill enemies, so for those who plan to play with dog meat by their side, investing on this perk will surely be worthwhile. Then we have Charisma's level 5 perk, Animal Friend, a returning perk from Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, rank 1 of the perk turns normally hostile animals non-hostile, meaning they'll ignore the player as long as you don't do them harm, and rank 2 of the perk makes animals come to your aid and fight alongside you to fend off enemies as long as you're not fighting other animals. Fallout 4's Animal Friend perk works somewhat similarly, but with added layers. Commune with beasts. With your gun, aim at any animal below your level and gain a chance to pacify it. Keep in mind, this is the first of 3 ranks. I think by rank 3, the perk will allow players to tame animals and use them against other enemies. Next up is Charisma's level 6 perk, Local Leader, which is new to Fallout 4. As the ruler everyone turns to, you are able to establish supply lines between your workshop settlements. The perk has 2 ranks total, with the second rank likely further enhancing unity of settlements. During E3 2015, Bethesda Game Studios gave us a glimpse of Fallout 4's settlement system, and they mentioned how players can link their various settlements scattered throughout the map together through caravans and whatnot, so if you're into that, this perk is for you. Then we have Charisma's level 7 perk, Party Boy, which is a returning perk from one of Fallout 3's DLC content, Broken Steel. Like in Broken Steel, the perk nullifies any chance for the player character to become addicted to alcohol. How the remaining 2 ranks could enhance this, that's hard to say. Maybe higher ranks will grant affinity against worse types of addictions like drug addiction. Further down the chart, we have Charisma's level 8 perk, Inspirational, also new to Fallout 4. Because you lead by example, your companion does more damage in combat and cannot hurt you. So it looks like there will be friendly fire in this game, and it looks like the only way to prevent that is by having a high-level charisma and investing in this perk. This perk has 3 ranks, and I'm assuming that each rank enhances your companion's combat damage, as well as other elements. Moving on, we have Charisma's level 9 perk, Wasteland Whisperer, yet another new perk. Master the Post-Apocalypse. With your gun, aim at any wasteland creature below your level and gain a chance to pacify it. So basically, this is Animal Friend for radioactive and mutated creatures. Not gonna lie, the prospect of pacifying and maybe even commanding terrifying creatures like the Deathclaw is enticing to say the least. Last but not least, for Charisma, we have the level 10 perk, Intimidation, also new to Fallout 4. This perk is very similar to Animal Friend and Wasteland Whisperer, except the effects will apply to human opponents. According to its description, the first rank will pacify humans by aiming your gun. The second rank will allow players to incite pacified opponents to attack, and the third rank will allow players to give commands to pacified opponents. I think it's safe to expect that the effects of the last 2 ranks of Intimidation will also be featured in Animal Friend and Wasteland Whisperer when you consider how similar these 3 perks are. So there you have it, all 10 perks of the Charisma perk tree. The footage then takes us to the Intelligence perk tree, starting with the level 1 perk, Vans, a new perk to Fallout 4. Let Vault-Tec guide you. The path to your closest quest target is displayed in VATS, so it's basically a navigation system of sorts for those who might get lost in the wasteland of post-apocalyptic Boston. Considering that VAT stands for Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System, I think it's safe to assume that VANS stands for Vault-Tec Assisted Navigation System. Interesting to note about this perk is that it only has one rank, meaning this navigation system can't be enhanced beyond what's already there. Below Vans, we have Intelligence's level 2 perk Medic. It looks like Bethesda basically took the medicine skill from previous Fallout games and turned it into a perk. Is there a doctor in the house? Stim packs restore 40% of lost health, and Radaway removes 40% of radiation. This perk has 3 additional ranks, each of which likely enhances health restoration and radiation removal by an extra 20% until the effect caps at 100% each. We then have Intelligence's level 3 perk Gun Nut, which as mentioned before grants players access to gun mods of a certain rank, with the max rank being 4. So it looks like some of the crafting related perks will be housed under the Intelligence attribute. This is then followed by a showcase of the Sneak perk, another example of a skill turned perk. Become Whisper, become Shadow. You are 20% harder to detect while sneaking. This particular perk has 5 ranks total, with the remaining 4 ranks likely adding an additional 20% until the perk maxes out at 100%. So a pretty self-explanatory perk. Last but not least, we have the level 3 perk for Luck, which is the one and only Bloody Mess, which makes a glorious return from Fallout 3. Plus 5% bonus damage means enemies will sometimes explode in a gory red paste. Watch out for flying eyeballs. Interestingly enough, this perk has 4 ranks total. My assumption is that each additional rank will yield 5% extra bonus damage with a maximum of 20%, and enhanced gore. This is the perk that this player decides to invest in with his 1 perk point. And that pretty much sums up all of the perks unveiled in this video. This is where I would like to end this analysis for now, but there will be more coming soon, as I'll be analyzing the rest of the perks in the chart based on knowledge from past games as well as the cartoon images. I will be releasing 1 video per special attribute over the coming few days to analyze their perks, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let us know in the comments below your thoughts and theories about some of these perks, and your thoughts about Fallout 4's character development system. And to be further updated on Fallout 4, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out!